Hi there and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to talk to you about the 16 books that I read in September of 2025. September was a pretty good month for me as I did a couple of different reading challenges and worked on a reading vlog, and I ended up having only one-star book, no 2-star books, and then everything else was 3 stars and above. So let's get right into it, and I'm going to start with the books I enjoyed the least to the books I enjoyed the most. The only book that I gave less than a 3-star rating in September was Ladies in Hating by Alexandra Vasti. From the very start of this one, I was just really struggling with it. I ended up getting all the way to like 85% of the way through this one before I finally just decided to DNF it and give it a 1 star. For me, I just found this one to be a little bit too slow paced, and I think there was just something about the dynamic between the two characters that just didn't quite hit for me. If you're a huge lover of like sapphic Regency romance, you might really like this one, but ultimately it just wasn't for me. And starting with the 3-star books that I read in September, the first one was The Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake. This one I read as part of my Dark Academia reading vlog, which you can check out here. The Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake is about the lost library of Alexandria, except in this universe it's not actually lost. And there's kind of a like top secret organization in charge of like watching over it, and that organization also kind of keeps all of the knowledge of that thing to themselves. The Atlas 6 follows the most recent 6 initiates kind of like entered into the secret society, and we get to see them comparing their strengths and weaknesses, casting magic, doing all the things, except of course this one kind of comes with a big twist, as I've noticed that most of the Dark Academia books I ended up reading had kind of a critical element where we would be introduced to the structure and then the structure would at some point kind of fall apart. If you really like books with multiple perspectives and kind of this idea of like magic experienced through science, I would definitely recommend this one. Up next on this list is Kitty St. Clair's Last Dance by Robb. This one was like a small town, long distance type of romance, and I actually have a full review on that one if you want to check it out. In September, I also read Book of Night and Thief of Night, as well as Bunny and We Love You, Bunny, and I'm going to be putting out a full video on my like opinions of those, but both Bunny and Thief of Night ended up getting 3 stars for me, so the first and then second books respectively, and I just thought they were fine, worth reading, and if you want more details on like the specifics of the plot and what I thought, you can find them in that upcoming video. And the final book in the 3-star category is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is another one I read for my Dark Academia reading vlog, and The Secret History is kind of like a classic Dark Academia, like one of the first that set the tone for the rest of the genre. And I really enjoyed the first half of this book, but just found that the second half was just not really my vibe. Okay, so moving on to 4-star books. 4-star books are books that I really liked and would recommend to a friend, but I probably wouldn't read them again. So starting off the 4-star category, we have At Your Best, which is a nonfiction book that focuses on how to take your time and kind of allocate it correctly. I really liked this one because I thought that it approached time management and productivity with an interesting lens, which is how to divvy up your day according to your energy levels rather than just following like the typical 9 to 5, for example. If you're into like productivity books at all, I would definitely recommend you check that one out. Girl Next Door by Rachel Meredith also got a 4-star rating from me, as I really liked this one. Girl Next Door is the story of a woman living in New York who finds out that a best-selling romance novel has come out, and she is basically one of the main characters. This leads her to go back to her hometown and kind of do some sleuthing around and kind of talk to the person who is like the anonymous author of this one. I really enjoyed it, and if you're a fan of like sapphic romance or books that kind of center around writing and books, I would definitely recommend it. I also read The Austen Affair by Madeline Bell. I've been reading a lot more Regency stuff lately, and The Austen Affair is the one I enjoy the most, since this one is the story of 2 actors who are sent back in time. So I really like the way that this one kind of blends modern with like the Regency setting to get a more unique twist on it rather than simply being a book set in the Regency era. And I have to say that after reading The Austen Affair, I was actually motivated to go back and read more of Jane Austen's works, since I read Northanger Abbey when I was like in high school, and I think I've read Pride and Prejudice, so I would definitely be interested in doing like a Jane Austen reading challenge at some point in the future. Also in the 4-star category, I have 2 more books from my Dark Academia reading vlog, Ninth House and Babel. Now these 2 books are totally different vibes, with Babel being more like historical and very serious and like heavy. If you've read that one and you got to the ending, you know what I'm talking about. Whereas Ninth House, while still having a lot of the same dark themes, definitely keeps a lighter touch throughout the book. If you're looking to have fun, I would recommend Ninth House. If you're looking to be emotionally devastated, I would recommend Babel. And then the other 2 4-star books in the category are from my September sequels reading that I did, and those are Book of Night, which is the first book from Holly Black, and then We Love You Bunny, which is the second book from Mona Awad. Again, I have a full video talking about like my experience of reading these books and what I liked and didn't like about them, but overall I really liked We Love You Bunny, and I liked the interesting perspectives that we got from this book compared to the first one. And for Book of Night and Thief of Night, I just felt that Book of Night was a more well-rounded and kind of contained story, whereas Thief of Night definitely had sequel vibes. And now we are getting to the 3 books that I gave 5 stars in September. For me, 5 stars are kind of rare. As you can see, this is 3 out of 16, so I'll put whatever percentage that is up on the screen. But basically, I only give a book 5 stars when I feel like I would be willing to read it again, just because of how much I enjoyed it. So the first book that I gave 5 stars in this category was A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. And this was another one, a dark academia book that I read. This one's set in high school. It's very fun and lighthearted, has kind of chosen one energy. And overall, this book was not like a thesis on academia or learning or science or any of those things. And it had a very light touch when examining like class and money and like the right to education. But I just had a ton of fun reading it. I had so much fun reading it that I stayed up like all night to finish it. So it was actually the only book I read for dark academia that I ended up giving a 5 star. And then the second book in this category is a nonfiction book that I've read several times before, and that's Building a Second Brain by Tiago Forte. This is just a book about the like ability to capture notes. There's like a quote that says like, your brain is meant for having ideas, not for holding ideas. I really like this one because it talks about how you can build a system for capturing, retaining, and like being able to review the notes of your life. And I think that this is really applicable to readers if you like to like take down quotes or like remember things about books you read or like connections that you make as you're reading. I think it's really important to have a system for doing that. And Building a Second Brain just talks about like the fundamentals of that, different platforms you can use, and like how to organize it. So I really enjoyed that one. This is actually my second or third time reading it, so it does get a 5 star from me. And then the last 5-star book that I read in September was Anita de Monte Laughs Last. I absolutely adored this book. I was astounded at how much substance and character was just crammed into such a small thing. After reading several like 500-page books for the Dark Academia Challenge, I think that Anita de Monte is like a great example of how to really like create a dense story. This one is also told from the perspective of several characters and just has a complete range of emotions, from hilarious to like a full bitter female rage to just laughing out loud at some of the stuff that happens. And I actually read that one as part of a way to celebrate and acknowledge National Hispanic Heritage Month, and I'll be having a full vlog coming out on that soon. So yeah, that is everything I read in September. 16 books, 2 nonfiction, no 2 stars, and 3 5 stars, with some dark academia and some new releases. Have you read any of these books? Do you want to read any of these books? Do you agree or disagree with my opinions? Let me know in the comments. As always, I really encourage you to check out your local library and see if you can find these titles if you're interested in reading them. But if you'd like to have a copy of your own, I do have some links in the description you can follow, and I'll earn a small commission for my channel. Thanks for watching.